When you think of what word best describes Call of Duty Zombies, what words come to mind? You'd have the fact that it's fun, the fact that it's enjoyable, or the fact that it's so absolutely frustrating because little Kevin over there keeps stealing your kills. Kevin, we all know you're going to go down on round 5. Those points are going to do nothing to save that. Just don't steal my kills, okay? Vendettas aside, I think we can all agree that chaos is a perfect word to describe Call of Duty Zombies, and what makes the game mode so stinking fun. And what best exemplifies this is when you're in a co-op game with 3 other players. You see, there's just something so special about having a full lobby of players, and how absolutely bonkers it gets when you start to get up in the rounds. And when I say bonkers, I mean this.
I'm thrown it.
Oh no. Oh, this is not good.
Wait, you're left me! You're left me!
No, we got you, we got you. Okay. This is it.
Everybody, we stay as a unit.
As a team.
Stay as a unit.
I'm out of ammo.
We still stairs. I have no ammo. I'm throwing grenades. I'm throwing grenades.
I have two shots left. That's it. That's it.
There's so many. I'm literally
I'm out. That's it. It's all you guys. It's all you. I want a knife. Hey!
And it's these special moments in the chaos of the game mode that make Call of Duty Zombies such a gem in what it is today. However, it's a little more difficult to get these moments when you play with less players or even solo. Most maps have an issue with keeping that chaos when you have a lower player count than the maximum allotted. If we were talking about 4-player co-op, you could pretty much slap any map you want. However, I want to dive in today and ask you this question. What is the most chaotic map in Call of Duty Zombies? And honestly, there's a few answers to this question. Because no matter if you're playing solo or 2 to 3 or 4-player co-op, there are certain maps that have that spark of chaos that absolutely can ruin your day, because you're sitting there minding your own business when suddenly a ruck sprinter from downtown comes running at you, you're holding the football, and he's ready to bring the pain train down your alley. See, Verrückt is one of those maps that you could probably agree is chaotic because it has 2 features going for it. Number 1 is, it's a closed-in, condensed, claustrophobic map. So already you're dealing with the fact that it's an insane asylum, and you really don't have anywhere to go. There's not a lot of room to move around in. And number 2, you have to deal with Verrückt sprinters, which are just slightly slower than your sprinting speed, but are faster than your normal speed. So you have to be careful about how or when you use your sprint. And then we have other maps, like Shangri-La, where, again, it's a close-quartered, claustrophobic map. Kind of a theme going on here. But this time, instead of dealing with Verrückt sprinters, you deal with the normal zombies, and then you also have to deal with special zombies. You have the Screechers, which are just a pain in the neck to deal with, and sure, they're not that beefy of a character, but if you don't take care of them quick enough, you're gonna get disoriented by their scream and probably die because you ran into a trap and not a zombie. And then you also have to deal with the napalm zonkies. And then you have to deal with the napalm zombies, which are fire. You get too close, you burn. If you get really too close, they explode, and you will probably die if you don't have Jug, and if you do have Jug, well, you're going to be red screened. And then, of course, you have the monkeys to deal with, which don't really pose any threat unless there's a perk drop, and then you really have to worry about them. And then you have maps like Transit, which doesn't necessarily have anything fancy to it. Sure, it does have the transit runners, which, by golly, that's where they got the idea for the Black Ops 4, Cold War, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare 3-2 sprinters from, because they're so fast, but they don't really pose any threat. And then, of course, Transit has all the other aspects to it. The denizens, the lava, the fact that the bus will take off with or without you, and you can't do anything about it. You have the Avogadro, you have a very big map, and you have a Pack-a-Punch that is inconsistent, and the jet gun. And though all of these maps pose some chaotic elements, I don't believe they hold the title as the most chaotic map of all time. I believe that title goes to Nuketown. Regarded as one of the greatest multiplayer maps of all time, Nuketown is always looked upon highly and in favor of the community, unless we're talking about zombies. You see, in a lot of people's mind, Treyarch went 0 for 2 on the Nuketown Zombies maps, and in all honesty, the only reason why the community has grown to like these maps a little bit more over time is because of coping. Yes, some of you like these maps because they haven't released a map you've liked in a while. You miss the old Zombies experience. It's okay. I do too. Maybe Black Ops 6 will take us out of it, or we're gonna go right back into another 3 years of misery. But let's look on the bright side. Look, a mushroom cloud from a nuke. Nuketown Zombies carries one of the biggest attributes as to what makes a map so chaotic. A claustrophobic map where you really don't have any space to go anywhere. Except with a little twist. Nuketown is a map that doesn't carry a lot of sustenance to it. And when I say sustenance, I'm not meaning gameplay-wise, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I mean more or less what the map offers. And by that, I mean there are no special zombies on this map. It's actually one of the first times where there is no special zombie featured anywhere in it. I believe the only way to have any sort of special zombies is in the custom map options, and I don't even think Hellhounds can be activated on Nuketown. If so, well, there's evidence on the screen, so I mean, maybe I'm an idiot, maybe I'm not. We'll find out later. Well, I'll find out later. But not only that, Nuketown doesn't feature traps or any sort of buildables, which include window barriers. This is the first map in Call of Duty Zombies history to not feature a single window barrier, which means that there is nothing you can do to at least slow down the zombies from approaching your location, which, don't worry, they're locked in on and they are ready to take you down. So you better be ready for it. But Nuketown then takes away one of the core implemented features that players have grown accustomed to. The perks don't spawn in with you when you first launch the game. The perks will be spit out from the mushroom cloud in the sky and will hone in on a random spot in your map. Except for quick revive and solo, that'll spawn in one of 3 locations in the middle where you can access it from the beginning. So there's that. And on top of randomized perks, one perk will be spit out about every 5 rounds, which means that there's a chance you're not going to get the perk you're looking for until about round 20. This is where the map becomes quite hated by people. If we're not including the small maps in Green Run, the first 3 maps released on Black Ops 2 do everything in their power to take away the choice of the player. And Nuketown's no exception. I wouldn't say it's the worst for taking away choice from the player, but it definitely is up there. And this is why the community hates it so much. But there's kind of a double meaning to this video. See, I'm a part of this small group of people that really loves Nuketown. And when I say loved, I don't just mean I like this map. This is a top 5 map for me. This is not a joke. I understand that when it comes to making an objective list, Nuketown does not hit top 5 on that list. It doesn't even hit top 15. But if I were to have my own subjective tier list, this map is a top 5 in my books. And I have just made a lot of people upset by saying that. I don't know why I like it so much. I'm going to try and explain why it is, but I think it has something to do with the chaotic element of it. Not a lot of maps give that same chaotic feeling in a solo game or in even a 2 or 3 player co-op game as much as a 4-player co-op game. And it's not necessarily the map's fault, but it's because you're adding in a new randomized element when you're putting in more players on a map. In a solo game, the only randomness you're really dealing with are the zombies themselves, spawning in different locations, coming at you from different ways. You don't know if that entryway is safe or not, but the only way to find out is to go through it. But then when you add the twist of players and the randomness that other players have, then you start to get a real chaotic mess that just makes it so much fun. But the reason why I believe Nuketown is the top tier when it comes to the most chaotic maps is because it takes away from what the player can do. If you rely on Juggernog, you might not get it to round 20. And that is if you even survive until round 20. You could get Jug round 5. You could get Pack-a-Punch round 5. You could get Double Tap or Speed Cola round 5. You don't know what you're going to get. And it's a main reason as to why players dislike this map so much is because you don't have a choice and it feels unfair. It feels like the game is against you. That's why I think the map is so chaotic. Because no matter what you want to have happen, the game will dictate what happens. And there's nothing you can do to slow the zombies down. There's nothing you can do to get the perk you want, except for quick revive on solo. And there is nothing you can do about what the game dictates, except there is. You see, the map can take all it wants away from you, except for your ability to survive. And that right there is what makes the map so much fun. It's taking everything the game tries to do to stop you from succeeding, and then succeeding nonetheless. There's something so satisfying about being able to survive until round 20 with no jug. There's something so satisfying about making it that far without relying on things that would make it easier. Nuketown does not hold its punches back, but it's not completely impossible. Yes, technically you could get everything you want on round 5. Yes, you still technically could get a really good gun out of the box. By the way, M27, why did that gun not get featured in any other maps? That's a crime. So when you take into effect every piece of the map that is trying to kill you and still you come out on top, I believe that's what makes it the most chaotic map, but also one of the most satisfying maps. So before I end this video, I wanted to go over one other aspect of the map that I think doesn't necessarily fit into any of the points beforehand, but I think still needs to be talked about. So when you think of a crossover between a decent player and a good player, one of the best examples that comes to mind is Origins. See, Origins is a map that is kind of a threshold in a sense, especially for Easter eggs. Origins Easter egg is not the most difficult Easter egg of all time, but it's not easy. There is a lot that goes into Origins Easter egg, and it can take 2 to 3 hours, even 4, and sometimes even more than that. It is a grind, and it is a process. It is a journey to go through Origins Easter egg. But once you come out on top, suddenly the door opens as to what you can do now. When you have been able to complete the Origins Easter egg and effectively complete it, you now possess the ability to beat any Easter egg on any map. No, Origins is not the most difficult, but it is the threshold between being able to complete the easier ones to being able to complete the harder ones. And I believe that Nuketown holds the same aspect, but for training. Though Nuketown is a very congested map, there is still room to be able to train on. And not only decently train, but effectively. See, when you're able to train on Nuketown, you unlock the ability to be able to train on any map. And so, though it's not the most loved, I believe it is a good grounds to test your ability to see how well you train the zombies, or how good you are at training. And you'll find out. Of course, every map is slightly different, and to say that by completing the Origins Easter egg or by being able to train on Nuketown, you can complete them all is, of course, a little far-fetched. Like, if you took 5 years to beat the Origins Easter egg, and then you can't beat Moon, it might just be that you trained on the map for so long that that's all you know. But what I'm talking about is the concept of it. Saying, once you get past that, you will be able to do better on those other maps. Now, it would be a crime to not talk about some little cool facts about Nuketown, if you want to call them facts. If you didn't know, there's really not a camping spot in Nuketown, except for a glitch spot on top of the door. I wouldn't recommend that one, because you can still get hits. You got to be very careful, but it's kind of funny it still exists. And then there's the power-up that technically changes every few rounds to a different power-up, but you can camp there. I'm not sure if there's a way that the zombies can get you from the other side, because I know that in the Black Ops 3 custom map, they can. I'm not so sure in Black Ops 2. From my testing, I never had them come from that way, but it might have been because I was stepped up a little bit more. So that might be the only camping spot that's viable that's not a glitch spot. And of course, probably the biggest crime for Nuketown zombies. Why was there not a mannequin Easter egg? After all the Easter eggs that Treyarch has been doing on Nuketown maps, how is there not one for the mannequins? Like, this map could have really used a better Easter egg than it. Of course, it's really cool that it ties into the Moon Easter egg, and on round 25 even, the zombies' eye color changes from Samantha controlling them to Richtofen controlling them, and it's really cool. And also all the drops then switch over to Richtofen. don't pick up the fire sale or you will get copyright hit. Let's not have that happen here. And there are so many little cool Easter eggs. How you can hear the sounds of the moon Easter egg progressing through the rounds. How Marlton is stuck inside the bunker and he is just a rat that's there. But again, he's still a better character than operators by far. But there's so many little niche side Easter eggs going on that I just wish that the mannequins could have something. Which, by the way, in order to knock the mannequin's head or arms off, it takes one knife and usually one shot, unless it's the Colt or the SMR. Jeez, the SMR is really bad. Like, it's not even a joke. I don't know why Treyarch added this, but it takes 2 shots with the pistol to knock a mannequin's head off. But with double tap, it's 1. Like, it makes me think that there might have been consideration for an Easter egg, but maybe that's just thinking way far-fetched. And honestly, it shows how miserably bad the SMR is in this game. Also, I believe Nuketown is the first map where you can mantle over wall, or technically windows. But for some reason, you can't actually climb up them. I don't know why they removed that feature. Which, it's not the only thing they changed. They put a bunch of rocks in places that, I'm gonna be honest, make 0 sense why you can't at least buy them. Because, man, this map would be so much easier to train on if you could open up a little bit more doors. But then again, that's what makes the map unique, along with the randomized perks, which wasn't the first time it happened. Shinonuma was the first one to have randomized perks, but it definitely is the only map that literally says you cannot access this perk no matter what you do, even if you have enough money to get there. Maybe Zetsubo, but that's mostly because Gobblegums exist. Jeez, this video is going to be so long at this point. It's going to be so crazy. Lastly, I want to thank you guys so much for watching these videos. I wanted to save this for the ending because I know by now a lot of people would have left the video. And honestly, if you do want to leave, it's okay. It's only going to be me talking about actual stuff that has nothing to do with zombies, really. So you can go ahead and leave if you want. If you want to stay, though, thank you so much for watching. It's been kind of weird. I've been on YouTube for over 10 years now. And just recently, I had the first video really blow up, which was kind of crazy. Now, I don't really want to take it to heart because I understand how the algorithm works, at least to a certain extent. It is kind of crazy to think that the channel has pretty much doubled in size and pretty much doubled its view count in just a matter of days. I mean, it makes me understand more of what YouTubers say when they don't really have much words to really describe how and what's going on. It's a bit surreal for sure. It's, sometimes it is straight up bonkers. Like, when I posted the first zombies video, it wasn't because I wanted to get a bunch of views and then jump ship. It's because I've really enjoyed the game and I wanted to put my foot in the ring, so to speak. It's just been really crazy over the last few days just to see the interest that's in it. Because I understand that there's a lot of interest in this game mode. I've been a part of the community ever since the BO1, BO2 era. I started playing back then, and I even believe my first video was like a Jimbathy video, which is just hilarious. Yes, he definitely got me on whatever the stupid lie of an Easter egg he had. But it really opened up this whole new world, I guess, to just a simple game mode. And I understand that this is not the only community that exists. There's pretty much a community for every game. I'm just glad to be a part of it, even with all of the craziness that's been going on recently. And when I say recently, I mean over the last few months. Kind of how the community's almost nearly splintered in a sense. Hopefully that does get repaired in the ending. If it doesn't, it's just another hole kind of that we'll have to hurdle over as a community. And I'll be honest, I didn't know how nice the community truly was up until I posted these videos. It's not to say that I haven't seen good comments on other YouTubers' channels, but there really hasn't been a community that I've been a part of that has shown the kindness that it has. I understand I'm not a big YouTuber by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm already taking up so much time as is. And for the most part, I probably won't do these kind of commentaries on these videos, or at least I'll stray away from doing as much as I already am, because I think I could save that for its own video while just playing a different map like I did with Bus Depot. So at the end of her, I mean, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been really fun so far, and I know it's only been a short amount of time posting at least zombies content. I have been blessed to be a part of the community and kind of just see everything that's happened from an outside glance and just peering in. So thank you guys so much. I plan on making more zombies content, but I also plan on opening up the other avenues back again because I do have some videos that are not zombies content that are at least half edited, and I'd like to get those suckers out at some point. I might post them on a different day just because I want to keep that weekly zombies video on Fridays always going. So whether I post those crazy non-zombies videos on the same day or on a different day, I mean, it's going to happen at some point that I'll put it out. I don't care enough about the algorithm to not post them. I understand the algorithm wants consistency, so if I kind of have an abnormal one, it might screw it up a little bit, but that's okay. This channel's always been about giving entertainment and just putting a smile on people's faces, because that's what we need right now. We need some smiles. And I'm not just talking about the fact that the zombies community has not been fed properly in a while, and pretty much it's the newer side of zombies that has been fed more than anything recently. It's more just because I understand that the world can just be really tough, you know? So I hope I do cheer you up some. And I hope, honestly, that you cheer each other up and that we keep on going in this. So, again, thank you all so much for watching. And I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.